This is 2023 on what's known as Bloody Sunday. 58 years ago, in 1965, John Lewis, Hosea Williams, and 150 to 200 other people attempted to march across the Edmunds Pettus Bridge for voting rights. They were beat down, they were blooded, to what is known as Bloody Sunday. And then the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, young people from SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, local pastors at Brown Chapel, AME Church, community people, Mrs. Borkin, a lot of people, Bernard Lafayette, C.T. Vivian came to Selma at the time. This was the cradle of the voting rights movement, the cradle of American democracy, the fulfillment of it. And we're still moving toward a more perfect union. We're not there yet, but let's talk about what has happened over the last 58 years. 1965 was the Selma to Montgomery March. That same year, we got the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Now I must say, for the record, the Voting Rights Act happened because it was bipartisan. Senator Herbert Dirksen, who was a Republican from Illinois, and Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the president of the United States at the time, Democrat from Texas, got together, and Republicans, Democrats worked together with a Democratic president and got the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed by the Congress. And then, of course, bipartisanship lasted for a while, but then things kind of fell apart. And since that time, the Supreme Court has taken some of the enforcement out of the Voting Rights Act, and their attempts to restore the Voting Rights Act. In fact, there's a case before the Supreme Court now in 2023, also from Alabama, that may take even further enforcement sections out of the Voting Rights Act. Now, why is this important? Not just to Selma, not just to Alabama, but to all of the United States of America. Voting is key to our democracy. Now, it's not the only thing, it's very important. And one of the things, if you look around Selma, if you look at the infrastructure, if you look at the buildings, if you look at the bridge, not much has changed in 58 years. They recently had a tornado that touched down, devastating tornado. And of course now FEMA is here, the Small Business Administration Disaster Relief Fund is here. But these measures are not just temporary. These measures are not going to bring about sustainable political empowerment, sustainable economic development. It's what the people need. If you look at the quality of life of the people who live in Selma, Alabama, sadly, their quality of life has not changed that much. Some would say it may have even gotten worse in 58 years. So how's that possible in America in 2023? We're in the richest country of the world, the most technologically advanced country in the world. We're so sophisticated in other areas, but the social fabric, the social net to keep people from falling through is broken in many places. Selma, Alabama is one of those places. So as we march across the bridge, the theme this year is to, yes, we're symbolically march across the bridge, but we should all be a bridge. A bridge to what? A bridge to voting rights, a bridge to economic rights, a bridge for financial literacy, a bridge for health care, a bridge to look at the property. Most of the property in this city is still not owned by the indigenous residents. That's a problem that needs to be attended to. The schools, the quality of school is directly related to the housing pattern, directly related to the socioeconomic status of the people who live in the community. So we want a better education for our young people, we better get a better housing situation for the families where the young people come from and where they reside. We live in a highly technical society where the internet is so important. So we still have communities here in Alabama that have no access to broadband, have no access to digital. And So it's across the board. It's not one thing. It's like a systemic problem. So where do we start? Yes, this voting rights march. The voting rights march is more than a symbolic march. It's an opportunity, I think, for us to assess not only how far we've come, how far we've not come, but to assess how we can move forward. And that's why I'm really looking forward to having a discussion with John Hope Bryant about what are some solutions for a place called Selma, Alabama. What are some solutions for the state of Alabama? What are some solutions for the South? And I'm gonna say, what are some solutions for all of America as we grapple in 2023, as we prepare for 2024. Everybody's focused on the politics, which is very important. But politics without economics is a shadow, it's an illusion.